Hey folks, it's us, podcasting wonderkins John Bishop and Lucas Southworth.
Although this is a podcast about cars, it is not age appropriate for the target demographic of these films, as we usually end up talking about the reproductive organs of Lightning McQueen.
Alright, now let's take a look under the hood. Hello everybody, and welcome to the Kachat, Side Roads. The Kachat is of course the only podcast brave enough to ask the question, hey, what's up with cars? But the Kachat, Side Roads is the only sub-series of a podcast brave enough to ask the question, hey, what are we going to do while John is on paternity leave? And the answer to that, of course, as we learned last week, and in the weeks leading up in which I just sort of talked about it on the podcast openly, is have guest hosts on. Last week we had my good buddy Rob Miller on, where he forced me to finally talk about The Good Dinosaur on my Cars podcast. And this week we are joined by maybe the other biggest fan of The Good Dinosaur that I know, at least, potentially in the world, though. And if you did listen last week, you know, of course, I'm talking about my wonderful girlfriend, Liz Ellis. Say hi, Liz.
Hi.
She's here. You've actually met her before, fine podcast listeners, if you've listened to, I don't know, the episodes where she came on and did a Dumb Cars RPG with me, John, and John's wife, Lizzie. But you may know her more from our little bit we do segment. That's what they're called. Our segment we do called Questions from Liz. In which how do we say it? We say, both of our significant others are named Elizabeth. They ask us questions. We don't tell you which one is which. That's the whole joke, I guess. So you've heard several questions from her over the years. But this week, I thought we'd turn it back around on her. I thought she's asked me too many questions that I've asked her to ask me. So I thought I get a few on her. So this week, it's not questions from Liz. It's questions for Liz. How do you feel about that, Liz?
I'm a little stressed about it.
A little excited, too?
I guess so. I don't know a lot about cars.
No, I'm not going to quiz you on trivia or anything. I'm just going to ask you some general questions. Sort of about what it's like to live with a person who does a podcast about cars.
I can do that.
Okay, I'm excited. And big thanks to you for doing this. You're very sweet and good to me, and you're a very good girlfriend for doing this. So I think a good way to establish, just start right off, is just what are your general thoughts on the Cars movies?
I guess they're fine.
That's fair enough.
I don't think I've ever felt passionately about them. I haven't seen the second one.
That's fair.
I think the third one I saw with you, which inspired the podcast, if I remember right.
Sure
you were
did.
driving home from the movie and you were very upset about something in the third movie.
That's true, yeah.
Yeah, Cars Land is really cool. I went to Cars Land once and that was neat. Fun rides. They have cars that dance, which is a good time.
Yeah, you do. You've talked a lot about the cars that dance in Cars Land.
It's so funny. They dance together. It's really cute. It's very funny. I'm sure not a lot of people like that ride, but it's great.
Now, do you think it's funny because cars just like don't usually dance? Is that what you dig about it?
I guess. I don't know. It's just like, I guess it's unexpected. And they are actually dancing with each other. Like two cars are facing each other and they're like spin around and do little dance moves, but you're like inside the car. So you are also dancing. So like it was me and my cousin sitting together in a car and like we were dancing with my aunt and my other cousin. And I don't know, that was funny, but like we were in cars. So the cars were dancing, but we were dancing. It's a good time.
Man, it's weird that you can get in the cars at Cars Land, but I don't know how much time we have to unpack that yet. We may come back to it, though. Just following up on that, you already sort of answered that the third Cars movie you think is better than the first one, or did I make that up?
I don't know. I don't think I've seen the third Cars movie more than once, which was in theaters, and I've definitely seen the first one a couple times.
It's also been out a lot longer,
Yeah,
so that makes sense.
I think the third one too, they kind of like beat you over the head with the message, which I'm never the biggest fan of.
That's fair.
And I like a lot of the characters in the first one. Like I like Luigi and Guido, and I like Red, and I like Mater. I think Mater is very funny, and I feel like not as featured in the third. Not necessarily Mater, but like the other kind of secondary characters.
Well, you haven't seen Cars 2, so you
That's true.
That's Mater's big day.
Mhm.
Mater's night out on the town. So we'll have to watch that.
I'm also a big fan of Doc, and Doc's not in the third movie.
But he does inspire a lot of the events of the third movie. Like, it's still about Doc a lot, I'd say.
Yeah, but like his relationship with Lightning McQueen and how that grows is like really neat, I guess. I wouldn't say it's interesting because it's kind of like a classic like mentor mentee, but he's an old retired race car. I don't know.
True. Yeah.
But it's fun. It's sweet.
And correct me if I'm wrong, I think you've seen Planes and Planes Fire and Rescue just because I watched them and you were in the room.
I don't think I've seen Planes, Fire, and Rescue. I think you made up that memory. I have seen the first Planes.
With me or just separately?
With you.
Okay.
I don't think I saw it until you, though.
That's
because I never wanted to.
Hey, that's fair enough. As we talk about, Planes is my least favorite of all of them. So it's fair enough that you don't have too many thoughts on it. But sort of going back, you mentioned a few characters there. Do you have a favorite character from Cars?
That's a good question. I don't know. I guess it would be Red.
Red's my favorite.
Wow.
Did you know that?
Cute. I did know that, but that wasn't the reason.
No, of course, yeah.
It probably is, though, because you mentioned, because I think that you were like, Red's my favorite. And I'm like, that's interesting. And then you mentioned, like, yeah, he really likes his flowers. And I think that's really sweet. That it's just this fire truck who likes watering his flowers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm a sucker for a gentle giant.
It's very cute.
And just like a big sweetie, big quiet guy. That's that does it for me, as you know.
Yeah. I think Sarge and is it Fillmore?
Yeah.
They're a very interesting like couple.
Mm.
I don't know if they're like a couple, but I think they're cute and kind of fun.
And I think John and I have talked about the fact that I like them. Okay, I'm going to tell you my headcanon about Sarge and Fillmore real quick. That I think I've talked about on the podcast before. But I like to think that they're brothers, and they both went and fought in the Vietnam War, and they had wildly different reactions to it. Doesn't completely track, because Sarge is a World War II Jeep, not like a Vietnam War Jeep. I don't know if they could even use Jeeps effectively over there, but I don't know. I agree that they're an interesting little dichotomy.
Yeah.
But I think let's go ahead and dive right into what inspired this episode and what is laid out on our counter in front of you, taking up more of it than I like to admit. And that is all of my Cars memorabilia. The inspiration for this episode, before it was just a general questions episode, was Liz. I asked Liz if she wanted to do the podcast, and she said, yeah, but what would I do? And she said, maybe I could rate all of your little Cars things. I was like, that's great. That's perfect. So I think we should dive right into it with the die casts, Liz.
That's these?
Yeah, the little car, the little toys.
The little Hot Wheels.
Yeah, if you will. So I guess just go down the line. First, I want to see if how many of them you can name. So I'll tell you their name afterwards, but as you pick them up and talk about them, tell me what you think they're named, and then tell me what you think about them.
Am I ranking them eventually, or just
talking about them? Give me a 1 to 10 ranking.
Wait, am I putting them in order or ranking them?
like an out of 10 ranking.
Okay.
Yeah.
Do you care which one I start with?
You go where the spirit leads you, babe.
I guess I'll start with Celine.
Uh-huh.
This one is Celine.
Celine DeFair.
I don't like her.
That's fair enough. For the listener, Celine is the one from Cars 2 where her eyes are in her headlights instead of on her windshield.
So the reason, I mean, she is just kind of spooky in general, especially next to all of them. The reason I don't like her is I think this specific die cast is haunted because Lucas puts them on our desk and she moves by herself, and I do not like that. I don't know, but it's kind of, she's like muddy, and that's kind of cool. There's some good detail on her, like her door says sporty on it.
Oh, does it? Cool.
It does, sporty.
Yeah.
But I don't know, she's scared. Oh, you can also see through her windows.
Yeah, that's a thing in the movies. You can see right through her entirety where we think a brain should be. So that sort of shoots a hole in some theories for us.
Yeah, that's really scary.
Yeah, it is.
But yeah, don't love her. I give her probably a... I was going to give her a 1 because she scares me.
That's fair.
I don't want her to attack me, though, if she truly is haunted. If there's a ghost in Celine. So I'm going to give her a 3.
You're appeasing the ghost.
She moves. She moves backwards. It's really scary. I don't like it.
My theory is that she's weighted a little bit weird, and that causes it. But maybe it's a ghost. Who knows? If any of them were haunted, I would say it would be Celine. So.
All right, I'm going to look at their license plates, too, because I just picked up the next one. Her license plate is Cure 10 Sit 3.
Sure.
Don't know what that means.
Also, I looked up on her wiki because I couldn't remember her last name. I want you to know that her last name means the headlights in French.
Oh, no.
Yeah, it's no good. She sells headlights also. She's a whole thing.
Spooky.
Moving on, who do you got in your hand?
I think his name is Steve Hercel.
Yeah, very good.
Wow. So his license plate, which is the reason I decided to do this, is Grim, I think.
Oh, no. Grim Grin. I think it's like Grim Grinning
Grim
Ghost.
Grinning Ghost. I love that. That just shot him up a lot. That's very fun. Steve
Hercel is the hearse that appears for half a second in Cars 3.
I mean, he's just a hearse. It is kind of spooky because, like, I don't, especially if you pick up one of these other cars, like that car wouldn't fit inside him. So, like, what is his purpose?
Yeah.
Not that he has to have a purpose. He could just be a car, living his life. But I don't know. Why does he have more space in him than, like, say, Celine?
Yeah.
I love, what is it, Grin?
I think it's Grim Grin, like GRN, but
yeah, I see that. I don't know. I think that's fun. That's a good, like, nod to the Haunted Mansion. I really like Disney. And, like, I'm gonna bump him up. I would have said a solid, like, 4 or 5, but I think he's like a 6 or 7.
Give me one of the two.
6.
Okay, fair enough. Feel free to do, like, 0.5s and whatnot.
I'm not gonna do that.
Okay, there you go.
I don't know this one. This is a little bunny rabbit car. I think it's the Easter Bunny.
Very close.
It's very close. I was gonna say Hopper's Bongo because that's on her back, but I think it's probably the Easter Buggy.
Yes, the Easter Buggy. Self-explanatory. We did an episode featured on her recently.
I'm sorry, her license plate is Bongo, maybe?
Is it perhaps Boingo?
Boingo is probably right. It's poorly spelled though. Bongoo.
No, that does say Bongo. You're
Bongo.
right. Let me see. Yeah, it says Bongo. Okay.
She's from California, if you're curious.
Oh, I always wondered where.
Yeah. That's funny. Her wheels say Hoplite, which is keeping with her theme. She's pink. I really like, she has little, like, whiskers in the front, which is pretty cute. It is a little spooky because the other ones have mouths, but she has, like, teeth. Like, she has, like, the typical, with, like, bunnies, when kids draw them, they have the, like,
the buck teeth.
Well, it's like when you draw the mouth, the line that goes down, and then there's, like, a loop, and then the teeth. She has that, which is, like, kind of weird. I like that. I don't know about cars. I'm realizing this. These little pipes.
Yeah, I have no idea what those are. They're her ears.
Yeah, it's so cute. So clever. Good naming, good theming. I'm going to go with like a 8.
Perfect.
I don't know this one. Oh, he has something on his side though. Jambalaya. Is his name Chimichanga Jambalaya? Jambalaya Chimichanga.
There you go. You got it. And keep in mind, he came with those little stacks of tires, if that affects anything.
Yeah, you love theming. Love extras.
Jambalaya Chimichanga is one of the Demolition Derby cars from Cars 3.
I think he's super cool. He has like little... Because I guess like he's been beat up because he's from the Derby, so his coat is beat up. Like there's bumps all over him, and even feeling like the texture, the other ones are very smooth, and his like texture is kind of more of like a rough, like matte finish, which I think is very, very clever.
Yeah, I like that about him too.
His like he's smushed in the front, and so he looks kind of angry, which is very fun. It's very good. He has a 27 written on him. Not that that's important, but he does. Cannot see his license plate.
I could see him being the kind who wouldn't have one.
It's possible he doesn't have one.
Yeah.
But yeah, very fun. I love the tires. I guess does he like crash into the tires? Is that the idea? Very cute. Good job. I'd say like a 9.
You should start a review channel on YouTube. I am engrossed in these descriptions you're giving, and I'm not being sarcastic. I genuinely mean that.
All right. I don't remember her name. This is the plane. We had her freaking name on the desk for a long time because Lucas thought it was funny. Is it like Kate the Corn Cob Girl, Corn Plane?
How you had it in one.
Kate the Corn Cob Girl?
Her name
it's that long?
Her name is Kate the Corn Cob
Wow.
Girl. She's a plane, and she's dressed like a corn cob. Shout out to our friend Adam for sending her to me.
Now, is her body the corn, or is this a costume?
It's canonically revealed to be a costume she's wearing. Yeah. So it's not that weird, but it's also pretty weird.
It is pretty weird. It's a little disappointing that she is not corn.
I'll agree with that.
You can move her propeller, which is good fun.
You can also put her landing gear in and out, one of them.
Where? Oh.
Yeah, you can like push it in.
So cool.
That's my favorite moment of the episode so far.
She has a little zipper on. So there's like corn, and then over top of her is like the... What even is that? Like the husk? Is that what it's called? The husk? And the husk has a little zipper on it. So you can't unzip it, but you can see the zipper lines and like where you could pull it if it was a real costume, and that's pretty cute. Yeah, she's good. I really like the landing gear. I wasn't going to give her a higher score, but now I'm thinking of like an 8. Let's do a 7, actually.
7, that's fair.
Yeah. Because otherwise, I don't like that she's not actually corn.
She's lying to all these people.
I don't remember his name. This was a gift I got, though.
Mm-hmm.
He gets snowshoes.
Yeah.
Right now, he has a flat tire. See if I have any hints. Nope.
Give me your best car's name.
Joe Johnson.
That's the least car's name in the world. I love it. It's Leroy Traffic.
I do remember Leroy Traffic now that you say it.
He's the van with a flat wheel who's carrying a mattress for some reason.
It just doesn't make sense. Why would he need a mattress? And it's causing him so much stress. Like, if you look at his facial expression, he's very worried, very stressed out. Just take off the mattress.
Yeah.
You don't need it. I think it's very fun. I didn't know this. So I got this for Lucas for like a birthday present or something. And I was looking for weird Cars die casts. And they had this one, and then they had one that was like snowshoes Leroy Traffic. And I didn't understand that because they have like Lightning McQueens that are like Santa Claus and like holiday themed. And I was like, oh, they just made a weird Leroy Traffic. Like, this isn't in the movie. So I got this one, and then Lucas was like, oh, look, he has a flat tire. So this one has a tire that is smaller than all the other ones, which is like his flat. And then at the end, he gets snow tires. Is that what happens? So cute. So I almost want to get the snow tire one. That's
fair. Still has the mattress.
Still has the mattress. Didn't get rid of his little stress. I get it. Me too. Oh, okay. So his license plate, I think he's from North Carolina. But his license plate is 874LTK, which I imagine is Leroy Traffic.
Probably, yeah.
Cute. I don't know, he's pretty, like, standard, but I do like the flat. I do like how stressed he looks. We'll say, like, a 5.
Fair enough. And these two I would rank separately, but, like, you can relate them to each other in their ranking, you know?
This was also a gift that I got. It's the Pope Mobile and the Pope. Is that just their name?
The Pope Mobile's name, as far as I know, is the Pope Mobile. The Pope has a name. It is Pope Pinion the Fourth.
Is that an actual, like, Catholic Pope?
No.
Okay, it's not, like, based on one.
I mean, it might be, but the name is not, at the very least.
But yeah, this was also a gift that I got. And I think I got a steal on it because just the Pope Mobile was listed, but the pictures of the Pope Mobile and the Pope. And I messaged the guy on eBay and I was like, hey, is this the Pope Mobile and the Pope? And he's like, yes, absolutely. And it was much cheaper than any of the other ones I saw, so...
Yeah, the Pope Mobile and the Pope are actually like a fairly rare diecast.
Yeah, they're like $100, I think. This one was very, very cheap. No.
Yeah.
But the Pope is very fun. He has a big Pope hat. I don't know a lot about Catholicism, so I don't know what, like, the hat is called. But he has a little Pope hat. He has a cross on his, like, the front of him, which is very fun. Pretty classic. He's a white car. The license plate is SCV1.
SCV1.
I don't know what that is. I would imagine it's referencing something, but I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know.
Pretty standard.
If you're Catholic and those letters mean something to you, let us know.
Am I ranking him now?
Sure.
I feel like they're better together, though.
And, like, you can factor that into your ranking, the fact that they are a pair, but
rank
them separately.
I would give the Pope just, like, a 5. Like, pretty standard. Maybe even a 4. Like, there's nothing really special. I like his hat. The cross in the front is fun. The Pope Mobile is just a joy. I like that. Okay, his license plate is Pope MOBL, so Pope Mobile. Very good. Yeah. I mean, you can, like, open his back and drive the Pope into him, which is good fun. I think it's very interesting that, like, the Pope just rides in the back of him. He also has the cross in the front. He's very on theme. Like, they both look like the same, like, style of car, I guess, which I enjoy. So I'd give him, let's say, like, a 9.
There we go. Tied with Jambalaya Chimichanga.
Wow.
Also, I don't remember why I was looking this up, but I think if you look at their wheels...
That's what I was looking at.
They say Altus Via, which is Latin for high road.
How cool.
Now, do you have a ranking for just the die casts as a whole? Because, like, you're going to go through all the rest of that stuff, like, compared to, like, my other things that I
like
have.
them a lot. They're good, like, desk decorations. They're very fun. I like them more than most of your things. I would probably give them, like, let's say a 10 out of 10. I think they're really fun. They're fun on the desk. I'm excited for us to get, like, an actual, like, office room and put them like on a shelf. I think that would be cute.
At the office, that's fair. All right, this one should be a quick one, I gotta imagine. But let's go to the Cars DVDs. Like, don't rank them individually. Just like,
I mean, it's just the movies, right?
Yeah.
So am I just ranking the movies, or am I looking at the actual, like, design?
Like, you don't need to do them just like as a whole. Like, don't even do them individually.
I mean, they're movies.
Yeah.
A pure Pixar delight. Cars 3. From the creators of Incredibles and Finding Nemo. Pretty standard.
Yeah.
You know, they're fine. I don't really love the design on them, but they're fine. I loved a pure Pixar delight. We'll say, like, 3.
That checks out. They're sort of like the bare minimum of a thing to own for cars. Let's go over to the CD. I can't remember what you said the name of it was.
Oh, it's so funny. Hold on. Let me lift it up. It is called Lightning McQueen's Fast Tracks, revved up road tunes inspired by Disney Pixar cars.
John's wife, Lizzie, got me this. Or maybe both of them. I can't remember if it was a present from her or from both of them.
I like this. It's fun.
Just the title alone bumps it up a lot.
Yeah, it's good. Do you want me to read the names of the...
Any that jump out at you, but like if not, that's fine.
I don't know any of these songs. They're all car themed. My Wonderful Car is the first one. Road Trip, Rockin' Little Roadster. Oh, I do know this one. On the Road Again. Hot Rod Hybrid. Ooh, I got a new car. Oh, I know the last one too. I've Been Everywhere. I know that one.
Yeah.
Mater's on the back, Lightning McQueen's on the front. The name's very good. Like a 5.
There we go. I've never actually put that in a CD player. I don't even know if it works, but I just like that I own it.
Let's see if the CD actually has anything fun on it. Probably not. Oh.
And the case is broken.
Oh, look at that! So the CD is pretty standard, but that's Doc, right? On the back?
Yeah, it's Doc.
Doc's on the back.
There you go.
They give you the little, I loved when I was a little girl, the CDs that give you the lyrics, because I always wanted to know the lyrics.
Yeah, it's
so
got like
I
a
just
booklet.
like open them up and look at the lyrics.
There you go.
Yeah. Carburetor shot, and they like each little page features a different Cars character.
Yeah.
That's very cool. Let's give that a 6.
Ooh, bumping it up.
I'm a big fan of little books with lyrics.
Now, does the fact that it's a broken case affect anything? That almost bumps it up for me, I'll say. I think it's funny that the case is broken.
I don't know if it affects it for me.
That's fair. Let's go over to the Cars video games.
I don't.
And again, I rank these as like a group. You don't need to like go through all of them and rank them individually.
I don't know. I think I've only played one of these.
No, I haven't played most of these.
Okay.
Yeah, so you don't need to rank them on how good they are. Just like almost ranking like
just the look.
The look, the idea of me owning them.
I think this is what I've played. I think I've played Cars 3 Driven to Win.
Yeah, on the Nintendo Switch.
What is this? Is that like Jackson Storm? Is that his name?
Yeah.
He looks very angry.
That's fair.
I love this just Cars Nintendo DS because Mater looks like he's just having a ball. He's waving a little flag. Fire and Rescue. Oh, he's back!
Yeah, I have.
That's the exact same game.
No, yeah, I've got on the bottom. It's the same game too, but for the Wii and the GameCube.
Wow! Oh my gosh! Toon Mater's Tall Tales.
Cars Tunes, Mater's Tall Tales. That's one I gotta play.
That sounds so fun.
I think it's probably a bunch of mini games.
Oh my gosh!
Sure, we can play it, whatever.
So cute. Race-O-Rama. This just looks like the Cars 2
Yeah, it's
movie,
Cars 2, the video game.
Which kind of bumps it. That looks like the planes. Mater National looks so cute in the Cars game. I don't know. I'm not really into video games, so I guess also like a 3.
That's fair.
I'm a big fan of the Mater games, so.
I don't think they're Mater. I think they're the movie tie-in game to Cars, and Mater's just on the cover.
Well, Lightning McQueen's name is not on any of those games. Mater's name is on 2 of those games.
Okay, you're absolutely right, actually. I spoke wrong, and you're right to call me out on it. Let's see. Let's look at the Waffle Maker.
This was another gift from me.
And I will specify, besides the DVDs, the video games, and the Easter Buggy diecast, every single thing we're talking about was a gift to me. I did not go out and find, surprise slides too.
You asked for some of them.
No, I wanted some of them. I didn't buy all of them.
I think the waffle iron's very fun. We have a lot of waffle irons.
Me too.
It's just a tire. You just make a tire.
Does it say Lightyear on it?
It says Lightyear on it.
That's accurate.
There are little like lightning bolts. I don't know if that's standard for Lightyear tires. What I really like is the like waffle,
like the dial.
The dial to like say how deep you want your waffles is like a speedometer almost.
Yeah,
which is fun. I didn't realize it made noises, so that's what you heard. I will say though, I'm a big waffle fan. And it doesn't get the waffles quite crispy enough for me.
That's
but
fair.
I like the design, and I think it's funny.
It's also, I think, our biggest waffle maker. It makes the biggest waffles,
Yeah.
which is a bump for it for me.
Mm-hmm. Someone's going 186 miles per hour on it.
Wow, that's
I don't
pretty
know.
fast.
I'd say like a 6, because we have like 4 waffle irons, and I think it's very funny that we have 4 waffle irons plus a Cars waffle iron.
That's fair enough. Let's look at, I don't know what you would call that, the little earbud holder.
Oh, this thing?
Yeah. What would you call that?
It's a trinket box.
Sure.
So I bought these because they're part of Disney made like an ABC box, trinket boxes for both of their parks. And this one is, I got the 2 L's for Liz and Lucas. This is Lucas's, which is, hold on, what does it say? L is for Lightning McQueen Radiator Springs. And it's like the Disneyland one. And then mine is Lion King for the Festival of the Lion King and Animal Kingdom for Walt Disney World. But I think that in and of itself, I think is very cute.
Yeah.
But it has like an L and Lightning McQueen. I like the art that they have for it. And then when you open it, it's like a little lightning bolt on the inside.
I like that detail.
I think it's really cute. I'm going to give it a 9.
There you go.
I also like my Lion King box, so that's probably impacting my decision a little bit.
That's fair enough. I don't have these out, but what do you think about my 2 Cars shirts, which are, let's start with the Dynaco one. I
think doesn't the Dynaco one have like a tire track on it?
I don't think so.
Oh, I thought it did.
I don't think so.
Oh,
It might. I don't really remember.
I think one of them did. Lucas is going to find it. He just told me to keep talking. But I'm pretty sure the Dynaco one has like the Dynaco logo, and then there's like a tire track that like goes across the logo that I think is a lot of fun. And I think it's really faint on the one that he got, but I'm pretty sure on some of the other ones there was like a more distinct tire track. But no big deal. I like that one. Oh, he found it. I guess it doesn't have it.
Yeah, I didn't think of that tire track.
I think there was a shirt there is that not a tire track?
It might be. It might be just like
I think there was a shirt at the same store that had a tire track, but I think that definitely knocks it a little bit, but it's fun. It's like just the Dynaco logo. And then the other one is like Radiator Springs
Fire Department,
which I got because I knew Lucas liked red. Mm-hmm. I got that in Cars Land. They're good. I'd say like it's pretty good that you have like Cars shirts.
Yeah. 2
of them also. So like 5.
5 each?
Sure.
Okay, sure. Man, I have a lot of stuff. Let's go over to the corner for the pillow. I thought I liked the pillow, but it kind of freaks me out. The perspective on it's weird. Yeah. Because it's a Lightning McQueen pillow. It's a pillow that looks like Lightning McQueen, but it isn't like he's 2-dimensional, but like not in a way that makes sense to put in a pillow. Mm-hmm. Like the perspective's just weird on it. Yeah. I like it. It came with the blanket. I like the package, but I don't know if I like the pillow by itself. That's fair. I have to rank it like a 4. I feel bad though, because this was a gift from Lucas's brother and sister-in-law, and it's a really fun, lovely gift. Just Lightning McQueen kind of freaks me out. But I mean, they fully, as a joke, got me this as like it's a children's pillow and blanket. Yeah. Like the blanket will not cover either one of us effectively. So let's go over to the blanket. Okay, I don't remember what the blanket looks like. That's fair. Because I don't use it because it's not long enough. It's a good reason not to use it. So the blanket, it's very soft. Oh, I like the blanket a lot. That's very fun. It has like Lightning McQueen and some flags. A little like lightning bolt that's a road. The piston cup. I don't know, a cone. 95's right in the middle with some like fire behind it. That's cool. Good soft fabric. Mm. Nice summer blanket. Ooh. Let's give that like an 8. Yeah. Because again, it'd be a good blanket for a child. Yeah, absolutely. It's not a good blanket for either of us. No, it's a good summer blanket if you just need a light blanket. Those words don't mean anything. Yes, they do. I said to me. Okay. Okay, and then our last 2 over there in the corner. Let's go to the dice tray. I think this one's funny. It's very funny. This is another present from Liz. This is a dice tray that has Lightning McQueen etched on it, and it says "Ka-chow," and there's a little lightning bolt. And I was a little embarrassed to ask for this because it was like a customizable thing. So I messaged the person and I was like, "Hey, can you just put Ka-chow on the dice tray?" He's like, "Oh yeah, I can just put Ka-chow, but how is this?" And he had made this like image of Lightning McQueen with Ka-chow underneath it, with the lightning bolt in between ka and chow, and then an exclamation point. And it was just really great and really fun. And I like it. It's a funny gift. And I don't know if the guy knew that it was for like an adult or if he thought it was for like my child cousin or something, but
It's very funny.
I'm a big fan of it.
I'm going to say like 7.
I like that one because of the idea that you had it custom made for me. That's very good. Then I think the last thing over there is the Surprise Slides board game.
I wasn't going to pick it up because I don't think I'm going to open it. But I did pick it up because the little tagline is skid through the turns on an ever-changing game board.
Which is true. That's what the board does change.
Is it like Chutes and Ladders?
It's basically Chutes and Ladders, but you can change the layout of the board.
Wow.
We've played it.
I don't remember playing this. You can play as Mac. That's fun. I love Mac. That's another character. That might be my favorite character.
Mac's very good. You also like John Ratzenberger a lot, right?
I love John Ratzenberger. Yeah, you're right. It's probably Mac. I also think that the end of Cars 1 where they're like in the drive-in movie theater and like all of the characters are John Ratzenberger's characters. He's like, hey, that guy sounds really familiar. I think that's hilarious. I think my favorite character is Mac.
Okay, that's fair. That's good character.
I like that the clearance sticker is still on it. I think we got this at half price.
We got it at Target.
Oh, yeah. It was on clearance at Target. It was $9.99. Now it's $6.98.
Got a real steal on it.
I do think it's funny that like a lot of the characters on the front we don't know, or I don't know.
Those are the characters from, I can't remember, the town in Tennessee that Doc is from. They're Doc's old friends.
Oh, it's a Cars 3 game. I thought it was a Cars 1 game.
Well, Cruz Ramirez is right
there.
You're
right. Liz. I forgot what Cruz looked like. You can't play as Cruz, can you? Oh yeah, you can. I'm sorry. Weird characters. You can play as Lightning McQueen, Cruz, Mac, and is that Guido?
Let me see.
Or is that, who's the like pit stop?
That's Guido. Yeah, you're right though. That's weird. That's who I would play as every single time. But it's weird that he's one of the 4 playable characters, especially when he's not on the front of the box.
Yeah, Mac's not either though.
Yeah.
Also, Mac and Guido aren't race cars.
Yeah, there are other race cars on the front who you could, but no.
I'm giving this a like 9.
Okay, let me tell you, when we played it, it wasn't very fun.
Well, the box is a joy.
Well, there you go. Well, that's all of the memorabilia. Do you have any just general thoughts on what it's like to live in a house with a lot of Cars memorabilia?
No. I mean, I don't know. It's just things you like. I like mugs, so we have a lot of mugs.
That's fair. That's a good way to think about it.
It is nice for like gifts. Like I think when I got the waffle iron, I didn't forget about your birthday, but I was like very busy. And I was like, oh shoot, what's like a Cars thing? And there was a waffle iron. I was like, this is really funny. So it has been made gifts a little easier of just like find a stupid Cars thing or find like a really weird die cast.
That's fair.
So,
yeah. All right, let's move on to some more questions from Liz, or for Liz. So sorry, you're not asking the questions this time. So, we have the sub-series Origin Stories.
Okay.
Do you know what that is off the top of your head?
It's like Wall-E and like what led up to Cars.
That was a good voice. That was a good voice you did.
Good dinosaur.
If I was willing to put more editing work in it, I would put that before every episode of Origin Stories. But quite frankly, future Lucas isn't willing to put in that work. So, and if you don't have anything, that's fine. What's a movie or show or anything that you think would be fun for us to do an origin story on? I know obviously I know this. We've been dating for 6 years. But as we've said for the audience, you're a big Disney person, so it can be a Disney movie. And it doesn't really need to be like, you don't need to have a connection in mind.
I mean, I feel like 101 Dalmatians, Cruella's car is like highlighted.
That's fair.
I don't think it ever like moves on its own, but like I don't think I've seen 101 Dalmatians since like my childhood, but like I have a strong image of like what her car looks like, and like her, like they have a part I think where they like zoom in on her license plate and it says like Devil or like DeVille, and like her getting out of her car. So maybe like that movie. And maybe they do something weird with the car. I don't remember. I think Horace and Jasper have like a fun little bits in the car.
That's fair. And we could connect it, get in with like the pop culture. We're already past it. Nobody's talking about Cruella anymore. But we could connect it with Cruella as well, maybe.
I mean, I think you can make a point with Cinderella too, like the carriage.
Ooh, the carriage is good.
Yeah.
I like that. What else could she turn into vehicles? Yeah, I like that. Ooh, the wand. Art has the ability to turn sentient like animals into sentient being. Well, they're already sentient is the issue.
The mice turn into the horses, right?
Yeah, but doesn't someone turn at least
I think the dog turns into like the footman or something.
Yeah. But like in Cinderella, at least the mice are already sentient, you know. So that one actually, I like Cinderella a lot, actually. So we may end up doing that and consulting you on it. Similarly, we have the series Moments in Herstory. Don't even have to give me a specific event. If you have one, go for it. But what do you think would be an interesting like time period from history to explore if they're all cars?
I don't think this question is fair because I definitely gave you the idea of a lot of your...
No, you did.
Yeah. I know I was the one for the Donner Party.
You did give us the Donner Party, which is one of my all-time favorites in Moments in Herstory.
Well, I don't know. I gave you all my ideas.
That's fair enough. You're absolutely right, and you should say it.
I don't like. I guess any like presidential election.
Yeah, just talking about like what an election is like is interesting. Yeah, I like that.
All right, it doesn't even have to be presidential. I guess I just went straight to the top.
Yeah, and I mean,
I think also you could talk about like assassination attempts or even assassin. Oh, okay.
We did that in our last Moments in Herstory.
Well, all right.
That was your idea last time too. Was the JFK assassination?
He was in a car.
No, yeah, you're absolutely right. And just a car killing a car is interesting.
Yeah.
So I'll say you've already answered this question time and time again, and the JFK assassination and the Donner Party are both excellent answers.
Now, do you think that they would make like Assassins the musical based on like?
I think they still would because like.
Now, here's what's interesting. There's a character in Assassins. Who I don't remember because I love Assassins. I do not like this part of the musical. But there's a character who is, I think every scene he does is inside a semi-truck.
Ooh, that's kind of interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Yeah, that's there you go. Assassins the musical. It follows up on one we've already done. I love that. Oh, you touched on this a little bit earlier. When you were just sort of giving your general thoughts about cars. You've been to Cars Land, and I haven't. Now, I don't want to like go into a big thing about it because, hint, hint, we may have a big full episode planned about it pretty soon. But for that episode, do you have any things you remember from Cars Land that would be good to talk about, good to ask a potential expert on Cars Land maybe in 2 weeks?
I don't know if there's anything specific I remember, but I think just like going in as like a guest is just amazing and I mean, you can probably remember like going into Galaxy's Edge, like those themed lands are so incredible just because it's like there's a point where you walk in and you're like in Radiator Springs.
I imagine
and it's
Main
like,
Street.
Yeah. So like true to the movie, I guess. Like you feel like you're in Cars Land. And like I think when I was there, they had like Lightning McQueen and Mater driving around, which was kind of weird, but like very fun. I don't know if I remember anything specific about. I remember I liked in the ride with the dancing cars because you go like through the line goes through their shop. And they had a lot of
like Luigi and Guido's shop? That's cool.
They had like little Easter eggs. I think I Snapchatted you a lot of them.
Yeah, you did.
Like throughout the line that I thought were really fun.
And I'll have to ask a potential guest pert, that's guest and expert if you weren't sure, about the dancing car ride.
It's a joy. Apparently it replaced a different ride that was there on opening, which I learned. And a lot of people don't like it, but I think it's a lot of fun.
There you go. Moving on, I imagine a lot of our listeners do know this because I like to give you credit for it whenever I can. But of course you remember this because you also like to remind me and John, but you actually came up with the name, the Kachat. Do you, I don't know, remember anything about that? Are you proud of that name? Does it make you happy that we use it? Anything like that?
I do like that you use it. It's pretty exciting that like I came up with the name. I remember it was going to be like Cars, but not those cars. And in my head, I was like, why don't you just call it the Kachat? Like, that just felt so easy to me. Like, that's like, I feel like the thing that people talk about with cars is like Kachat or Kachow. It just felt like an easy, like, what's another word for talking? Chat, Kachat. It's like, this is very, I don't know.
Yeah, I still love it. I think it's an absolutely perfect name for a podcast. And you were too nice to say it because you know John's going to be listening, but Cars But Not Those Cars is a bad name for a podcast. So thank you for implying it. I got you the rest of the way there. John, when you listen to this, that was mostly a joke. I'm sorry. Going into the show, we do have the segment that this entire episode is based on. Questions from Liz. I guess, how do you feel about questions from Liz? How do you feel about being that part of the show? And also, how do you feel when, like, minutes before an episode, or like as I'm walking in to record an episode, I go, oh, shoot, do you have a question about, I don't know, cars in prehistoric times? How do you feel about being put on the spot like that?
I think it's a funny segment. I do get annoyed because it's usually when I'm like doing something and you'll say something like that and then I'll be like, I don't know, what are dinosaurs like? And you're like, oh, well, we're already going to talk about that. So then I have to like think of another question. And so it always has to be this like weird in-depth question. Like, and sometimes it doesn't. Like one time you asked me like, talk about like parallel parking or talk about parking. And I was like, have you thought about parking lots? And you're like, we haven't thought about parking lots. And that was the question. But sometimes I have to go in this like weird, detailed exploration of my mind to come up with a question. And that's hard.
That's fair. And you're an absolute trooper for doing it. And we're going to keep doing it. So thank you. Lizzie, if you're listening, also thank you. If you're not listening, John, turn on the podcast to this part so Lizzie can hear me say, hey, thanks, Lizzie, for putting up with our Dumb Cars podcast, especially now that you have a baby. Oh, I've been calling them Baby Bishop because I wasn't sure if John and Lizzie were cool with me revealing their name. The baby's name is Rory, if you were wondering. Rory Bishop. I met them the other day. They're an absolutely wonderful, beautiful baby, and I'm very, very happy, and I cried a little bit on the car ride home. Moving on. Oh, that's actually, I didn't think about this. You also talked about this a little bit earlier. Do you remember much about the car ride home from Cars 3 and just the mental state I was in at that moment?
I enjoyed it a lot because it was, I don't even remember what got you on the topic.
I think it was the Demolition Derby.
Maybe.
Really freaked me out. Yeah.
And you like...
The idea of the cars dying was like what?
Yeah.
Like Doc's death.
Doc's death.
And Lightning's clear fear of death in Cars 3.
I know when you get frustrated, you do this thing where you'll like talk about it and you'll like, couple things. One, your voice will sometimes get high and then you'll like stop yourself from talking. You'll be like, I just can't, I don't. And your face gets red sometimes when you do that. So like and I was driving, so the whole drive home, and I remember it was late.
Yeah, it was.
And we lived in a place where like I think we were driving back to where I was living, and it was like right off the road where the movie theater was, and there weren't like any other cars. So it's just us driving back while Lucas is like freaking out about the Cars universe. And it was very funny. And so I was egging it on because I thought it was hilarious. I was like, have you thought about like, I didn't know about the Pope, but like, have you thought about the Pope? Or like, what about Lightning McQueen? I don't know what I said, but I was definitely making it worse, which was fun.
I remember, what I remember about it is like, I was genuinely like upset and like genuinely worked up. Like I wasn't putting on, like I wasn't pretending to be worked up about it. I was worked up, as you, the listener, have heard me get more times than you probably should have about cars. But also I in my mind was like, I'm having a lot of fun. This is fun to talk about, which led into us deciding to do it as a podcast. Do you remember anything about John and I talking about doing a podcast and like those early days of deciding to do this.
I remember you talking about a podcast before we saw Cars 3. Because I think John wanted to do a podcast. And you're like, what are we going to talk about? And then we saw Cars 3, and I'm like, you should talk about this on a podcast because, like, you were so frustrated about it. And there's clearly a lot of, like, stuff in Cars to talk about. And I thought it was funny that you were frustrated, so.
Yeah, how I remember it is John was like, we should do a podcast. And I went, great, what should we do it on? And we were both like, I don't know. And then we saw Cars 3, and then the kind of conversation we had on that car ride home, I did with John also a few times. And then we were like, oh, I guess that's a podcast. Why not? So that was fun. And then I guess just to sort of close it out, just what are your general thoughts about the show? The fact that I do it, what it's like to live with someone who thinks way too much about cars, who has recorded over 100 hours of content about 5 movies he doesn't like that much. He doesn't dislike them. He dislikes some of them. Just what do you think about me doing the podcast and the podcast in general?
I think it's a lot of fun. I guess this is a little selfish, but what I enjoy a lot, I get very competitive, and we do a lot of Disney trivia because I'm very good at Disney trivia and I like winning, and that's something I know I can either win or place at. And there have been times when we'll go to like we went to a Pixar trivia once and they're like, what is the name of Jay Leno? And you're like, oh, or no, I don't know if that was the question.
I think it was something to do with Doc and like his full the answer I think was the Fabulous Hudson Hornet.
So this was like a Pixar trivia. So I know like Doc's full name, and I think there was one about Jay Limo or like one of the other. No, I remember what it was. It was I think it was a 2-part question. What is Doc's full name? Who was the voice of Doc? And you knew both of those answers. Mm-hmm. And then they were like, what is the only Pixar movie that doesn't have human characters? And one of the answers was Planes. And Lucas was like, Planes isn't Pixar. And then they had to like give us the point because they were like, no, you're right. This is a question that Disney wrote and is incorrect.
It's not made by Pixar. It's made by Disney Toon Studios.
And they gave us the trivia guy was like, you know what? Yeah.
If I remember right, it was a reflex to say, no, like to interrupt trivia and be like, that's not right. And then, like, after the fact, I thought about it and was like, I don't really like the person I was just then.
Well, but you did it, and then there were, like, multiple groups that were like, no, that's not a Pixar movie. So it wasn't just you.
Yeah. I don't know. I've learned a lot of Cars trivia, and I don't know. It's hard not to throw it out there.
I do like that it's also kind of a talking point. I feel like we've been to a lot of things where we're like meeting our friends' friends, or we're meeting like friends' family, and they'll be like, hey, this is Lucas. He makes a podcast about cars, which I think is just a fun thing. And then like their first question is always like, oh, do you like the Cars movies?
And I get to say, no. Well, again, as you all know, I like them fine. But not enough to do a podcast about them for just liking them. And let me tell you, Liz is right. We have 2 sets of friends who like to introduce me and say that, and I never bring it up. I love that I do this podcast, but it's so hard to explain to new people, so I never purposely bring it up, but they always do. Which is fine. I'm not saying they shouldn't do that. It's just always fun because they do it and I go, okay, let's see if I've gotten any better at the elevator pitch for the chat, and I never have. It's so hard to explain. It's a weird little show, and I appreciate you supporting me and our friend John in doing it. And what's more, this is the end of an episode of it. So thank you all for listening so much. We appreciate you sticking with us as we go through this reduced timeline for the episodes coming out. And And also, of course, thanks to my wonderful, beautiful girlfriend Liz for agreeing to come on the show, help us out while John is, I don't know, changing Rory's diaper or something. So, for real, very big thanks to you.
You're welcome.
And now I'm going to do the whole outro by myself, baby. And what we say, we thank you, and then I say, if you have any questions, you can contact us. Liz has raised her hand.
I know John's. No, maybe I know your part of the last part. I want to do it.
Oh no, I was going to make you do it. I was going to spring it on you.
I don't remember what. Oh, okay. I don't. Okay, I think I got it. I got both parts, so it'll be fine.
We got a bit till we get there. But if you have any questions for us, or you just want to reach out, you can do so at our email, which is thekachat@gmail.com. You can also follow us or tweet at us on Twitter, which is @thekachat. Do that if you have any episode ideas, if you have just any general questions, if you just want to say hi, or if you want to say, hey, Liz, I thought you did a great job on the podcast. I know I'm going to be emailing the Kachat from my personal account that exact message. So you should too, because she did do a great job. You can. What does John say? He says, please like, comment, and subscribe, which I always tickles me because you can't do a lot of those things to a podcast unless you're on YouTube. But you can leave us a review on whatever podcatcher you're on. Apple Podcasts especially is a great place to do it. But wherever you want to do it, if you leave us a rating or a review, that would be great. Also share the show with anyone you think would like it. And until next time, I'm Lucas Southworth and she's Liz Ellis. And my God.
You messed it up.
I did. And don't forget to float like a Cadillac.
And sting like a Beamer.
Yeah, I got it. That was us high-fiving if you heard that.